name is Gregory Scott. It's really nice to be with you today. Thanks for joining me. It's a real pleasure. I'm going to have a look at your astrology for July 2015. I'm going to do a really in-depth kind of look at what's going on via your planets and the aspects, and to really give you an in-depth overview of what's happening, okay? So I'm not going to use the tarot, I'm literally going to use the astrology and really focus on it. So the first thing that happens in July is that you start the month off with a T-square. A T-square in a chart represents a problem, a challenge, and a solution to that problem. And the problem that kind of presents itself to you at the beginning of the month is a real focus on your family and where you come from and what your roots are, and also this desire to really blossom and shine in your working life. There's going to be a kind of push and pull between those two. Do I focus on other people? Do I focus on work and what I want to achieve? And the answer to that is to focus on your relationships, because at the top of the T-square is the north node of the moon in Libra in your 7th house. And what that's indicating is that on a soul level, what's going to make you feel most purposeful and motivated is if you improve and if you continue to work on improving your personal relationships with other people. So that's important to start the month off right. On the same day as well, another aspect occurs, which is your ascendant, your rising sign, what you really like, and your midheaven, what you do for work, what you see yourself doing for work. They join into a kind of relationship via a square. And a square is when two planets are 90 degrees apart, or two angles are 90 degrees apart, and they create friction, okay, and they create energy between them. Your sense of self and your sense of what it is you do for work becomes really it becomes really kind of on fire. It becomes more energized, it becomes stronger. The ascendant is in the 6th house. You see yourself as a worker, and your midheaven is in Gemini in the 3rd, so it's about communication. Work on your communication. I think you're going to feel like you can get your point across very well, Aries, and that square stays with you for the duration of July. It begins on the 1st and it ends on the 30th. So July is going to be a great month for you to communicate your message very clearly and very well at work. Now, something else is occurring at this time. From the 30th of June until the 4th of July, Mercury actually sextiles Uranus, so they're 60 degrees apart. Your Mercury is in your 3rd house in Gemini. It's not in retrograde, so there are no problems with your communication. It's in your 3rd house, it's in Gemini. It means that communication for you at the moment is really on fire. Now, the connection with Uranus, it means that you're owning your own quirkiness, your own individual message, your own power, your own unique message. And this is really interesting because, you know, a lot of us can often, let's say you're a lawyer, okay? You can be really communicative, you can do really well, and you can do well at expressing the law, other people's kind of rules that have been put in place, but that's really got nothing to do with you. You're just repeating something that's already there, that's already a structure. With this Uranus-Mercury connection, you're going to want to speak your own unique information, your own truth. So rather than learn what's already in books, you may want to create your own book, or you want to speak something that's controversial, or even you may have a desire to irritate people deliberately. But the point of that is that you have something unique that you want to share, and you're going to share it. And there'll be a real tendency to speak before you think between the 30th of June and 4th of July. Now, the full moon occurs on the 2nd of July. And a full moon is always a period of blossoming and things reaching a culmination point. And the sun is kind of infused by Mars, so there's a real masculine energy shining onto that moon, and the moon is conjunct with Pluto, so it's a complicated time. And the full moon is all about expressing yourself work-wise. So the way to maximize things at the moment, Aries, for you, is to focus on your relationships, your working relationships, and the relationships you have with family, and try and manage those and not let anger creep in, and to really allow yourself to blossom in your working life. That's the formula really for the beginning of July. And that's what's going to make you feel happiest and most productive, and that's going to because it's almost a difficult time for you to navigate. I think other people in your life are maybe acting up a little bit, but there's a lot going on and there's a tendency to have conflict. And by focusing on harmonizing your relationships and then being productive at work, you can minimize that tendency to have conflict. Okay, Saturn squares Venus from the 3rd of July until the 15th of August, so a long time. This is important, okay? Saturn is the planet of restriction and real solidity, and it enters that relationship with Venus 90 degrees apart, and they kind of flow into each other. Your Saturn is in your area of other people. It means that you stand your ground when other people are there. And Venus is in your 5th house of romance and relationship and good luck and good fortune, in conjunction with Jupiter. What this really indicates is that there's a real connection between what you expect from other people, what you see yourself experiencing, what you would like to experience, and that actually becoming realized in your romantic life. So if you're looking for a guy who's 6'2" with, who's tall, dark, and handsome, and that's what you would like to experience, then you can manifest that, and it's a great time for you to experience something solid and concrete and practical and intense, and that actually pleases you in that area. So it's a time of great manifestation. 3rd of July through until the 15th of August. You can make it a practical reality for yourself. The Sun is also trining Neptune at this time between the 24th of June and the 9th of July. And that's interesting again because when I look at someone, if they ask me if they're psychic or if they have kind of musical ability or if they're creative, something like that, I look at what Neptune is doing in relation to the Sun. And if Neptune, like now, trines the Sun, the energy between the two flows really easily and really nicely. They're 120 degrees apart. So the end of June, beginning of July is going to be a time when you feel things and you're in touch with the feelings of love and what love could be like and the aspiration of love and the fantasy of love. So dreaming of Prince Charming, dreaming of what could be. And that's a type of manifestation. So it's almost like a story here. You dream about it, you do start to manifest it between the 3rd of July and 15th of August with that Saturn square Venus. And I really think as you get what it is you want. So if you do want that Prince Charming, then really manifest that, visualize it, put a vision board on your wall and really make that happen, because there's possibility to get what it is you want. Mercury moves into Cancer on the 9th of July. And that occurs right on top of your IC, your Imam Cola, your family sector. So there's been a real tendency for you this month already to have to decide between family and work. And now the focus is really on family. It's about working on your family relationships, communicating in a loving way, dealing with any frustrations that could come up, and continuing to build harmonious relationships. That's your job in July, Aries. It's your job to kind of cool people down and to build good relationships. And at the same time, you can explore your own quirkiness, your own sense of, that thing you do for yourself, that's just for you. You can explore that in your romantic life, and that's really your outlet this month. So family, you have to manage a little bit. Romance, you can really enjoy, and you can let your hair down in that sector. Now, another T-square occurs on the 11th of July, and that occurs between your moon and your Saturn. So that's the opposition, my expectation of what other people are and what that does. And I really think that there's some sort of financial benefit that you gain from another person in your life, and that then allows you the freedom to pursue your own interests. Basically what this means is that on the 11th you will get some good news either at work or from someone in your life about receiving more money. It could be a raise, it could be a check, it could be finding, it'd have to be a lot of money that you find in a coat pocket. But it's the kind of money that gives you more freedom to explore other sides of your experience. Romance, for instance, which is something you really enjoy this month. So expect that on the 11th, a real kind of windfall in terms of your finances. Now, the next day on the 12th, Mars conjuncts the Sun, and it does that, it finishes that today, okay? It's been conjunct with the Sun since June, and it finishes up that conjunction today on the 12th of July. And Mars is really pushy, it's the warrior planet, and the Sun is your ego. And when they combine, it really makes you a little bit obnoxious because you want what you want and you don't compromise. That eases off a little bit and you can become a little bit more relaxed. You can chill out a little bit. And I think you applied that sense of real drive in your family life. I think you became a bit of a blowhard in terms of, you know, we all have to get along. I really want this to work. And that's okay. And I think even though it doesn't feel that pleasant for you, I think you've really made progress in your family life and you made progress in bringing people together. So give yourself a pat on the back, but allow yourself to relax now from the 12th of July onwards. Pluto opposes the Sun from the 27th of June through until the 14th of July. And this energy would have caused you to really have to make a decision between work and family. It's that opposition. That eases off now as well. It becomes a little bit more relaxing in terms of you don't have such difficult decisions to make all the time. It's not either or. It's not I can really thrive and excel at work or I can focus all my time on family. You can do both and you can relax a little bit about it. Venus then becomes a theme here that I just want to touch on because Venus is the goddess of love, Jupiter is the planet of good luck and good fortune, and I've already mentioned this, but these two are conjunct, so they're melding and meshing and blending their energies together. Love and good luck, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. You know, if I had to create a perfume and I had to put ingredients in, the smell of luck and the smell of love would be things I would want to include in there, okay? I don't know how that would smell, but whatever. So they've been conjunct since the 17th of June and they will continue to interact with each other until the 13th of August. Guess where it is? It's in your sector of romance and relationship, and that means for you, Aries, that basically you're lucky in love. And this is also the last month when Jupiter is in Leo, because it goes into Virgo next month in August, and it means that it's okay for you to take the spotlight and for you to really to shine. It's a great time to get to know new people. It's a great time, if you're in a relationship already, to be the star, to be the person who's kind of adored for a little bit. And maybe that usually you do all the work, or I don't know, you love the other person more than they love you. But this is really a time for you to take the spotlight and to really be lucky in love. You know, to get flowers, to get gifts, to be presented with something wonderful. So allow yourself to take that on and to be pampered and to be adored and to be loved. It's great. Okay, now this takes me to the time of the new moon, which is around the 15th, 16th. It actually occurs on the 16th, but on the 15th something builds up. And it's a lot of this stuff that's been kind of culminating in your fourth house, family, and looking at managing relationships. It really creates a very strong opposition on this day with Pluto in the 10th. And there's a real strong opposition between the inner and the outer. So what you feel like on the inside and what you actually do on the outside. Now, the intuitive kind of hit I got for this is if you're ready for fame, if you're ready to go to the next level in terms of your work, you can really achieve that on this day, the 15th of July, and you can plant those seeds. But if you have unfinished business in terms of your family life, you're going to be someone who's going to retreat. So things are going to split for a lot of Aries today, because some who are ready to really finish off the family kind of sector and who've done the work there and who don't need to really focus on that, they can actually use that energy and fly and become almost famous because they look at the outside world and they really apply themselves to it, and other people are going to retreat and look inwards and really try and use that energy to resolve some family issues. So it depends on where you are with that. You know, if you've got ongoing problems in your family, then use that energy to resolve those once and for all. If you only had mild kind of things that you were looking at for the beginning of July, and you feel like you've made good progress with that, then now on the 15th you're free to pursue your own interests and you're free to fly solo. That's basically what that means. So the new moon then does occur on the 16th, and this is about what do you want to do for work. What new kind of elements, what new insights do you want to bring in? And the element that's strongest on this day is water. So the ideas will come through your feelings. What feels right? Let yourself be guided. What do you want to achieve at work? How do you see yourself transforming your working life? Okay, now on the 16th as well, Uranus, the planet of rebellion and energy, it moves into a square position with Mars, and it stays in that position from the 16th of July until the 2nd of August. Uranus is, think of him as an old man who is really rebellious and who's really cranky, okay? Think of Mars as a soldier who really marches out there and gets the job done. When these two connect, it really makes you forceful in terms of who you are as a person and what you want to say. That has come up earlier in the month as well. It's like that desire to deliberately make people angry or to speak your truth despite what the outcome may be. That's something that's really a strong energy with you this month. And you can use that for good or you can use that for bad. To use it for good, you can affect change. You can enter situations and really speak your truth and ruffle some feathers and get people to change. Or you can just do it to hurt people you love. So obviously you don't want to be hurting people you love. You want to use this kind of cranky energy to affect good things. So really tap into that and see what kind of causes you believe in, and then really put yourself behind those and get involved with that. Venus goes into Virgo on the 19th of July, and that happens now in your 6th house. There's a real ease and comfort in terms of your working life, and the romance kind of sector calms down a little bit. So use the first 3 weeks of July to really focus on romance, because now you become much more comfortable at being discerning, at being working, at being like a worker bee, and that becomes your focus and your main interest. Another T-square occurs on the 19th of July, and it remains in your chart until the 29th of July. So this is the third one this month, and it means that this is a month of real problems and overcoming problems and seeking solutions. This is again between your family sector and your work sector, and it's resolved by focusing on relationships. You also feel more in tune with people at this stage of the month, and you actually see where people are coming from, so it's not as difficult to kind of tap into someone else's mindset, whereas before it may have been a little bit of a struggle. Mercury goes into Leo on the 24th of July, and that happens in your romance sector again, so a lot of energy in that sector this month. This means that you are a little bit boisterous now. You're quite confident in your own abilities, and I don't really see that you come across as well now as you did at the beginning of the month. I think you may come across as a little bit full of hot air, like a little bit full of yourself. Doesn't mean you are, but that's how I think other people's perception of you may be shaped, because you're really into what you're saying. You're really enjoying the sound of your own voice. Again, there's nothing wrong with that, but channel that into something good. So again, that activism, affecting real change, but not trying to impress people, because when you're that kind of in love with yourself, people tend to pick up on that and it turns them off. I mean, some people actually like that. Some people are attracted to kind of ultra hyper confidence, and if that's what you're looking for, then use that. But most people, I would say, want someone who's kind of a little bit more down to earth and realistic. Now, on the 25th, there's a grand trine in your chart in water, and a grand trine is an area of real talent. And that is between Chiron in your 12th, the moon in your 8th, and the sun and Mercury in your 5th. The real talent that you have is influencing other people and influencing them with something you genuinely care about. So, what is it that you care about? Is it harmonious relationships, which you've been working on this whole month, really? Is it getting people to do more charity work? Is it for people to speak more openly and honestly? But you have a real ability to influence the way other people behave. So have a conversation. People will listen to you on this day. So it's interesting. You see how quickly things change here. Yesterday I was saying you're a little bit too much. Today I'm saying you get it just right. But it's quite a subtle month where you have to really judge and feel your way through the energy, and things are really shifting and changing very, very quickly. Virgo goes into retrograde on the 25th as well, and Virgo is the goddess of love. So when she goes into retrograde, and she stays in retrograde until the 8th of September, my birthday, it's a time to reassess and to reevaluate and to cool off a little bit, okay? The goddess of love kind of retreats a little bit. So if you're thinking of Venus as what it is you love, you kind of step back and you evaluate what it is you love. And I really think for you, Aries, this happens in terms of your work. How can you improve that? How can you make it even better for yourself? And I think you start to ponder that during August. Maybe that you go away and you think, where is my career going? How do I see it shaping up? It's a great time to really ponder those kind of things. And then we finish this month on the 31st with a blue moon. A blue moon is a full moon. Usually in a month you have one full moon, okay? It's very rare that you get two full moons in a month, and that's what happens this month. And the second full moon that occurs is known as a blue moon. And this blue moon is the 31st of July. It's in Aquarius in your 11th, and it happens very rarely. The next one is on the 31st of January 2018. This is about realizing your hopes and dreams in terms of what you're going to understand, what you're going to teach, what you're going to speak to people about. And I really feel like you get some more insight in terms of what your message is, what your intellect kind of asks you to engage with, to understand, and to play around with. So you really get some good new ideas at the end of this month that will then particularly help you with your work and where you want to go with your working relationships in future. So that's it. I hope you found that useful. As I said, it's really in depth this month, loads and loads of stuff going on. If you'd like a private astrology reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. You can also email me. The address is readings@gregoryscott.co.uk, and please remember to subscribe to the channel.